There's something extremely beautiful about a wooden handled folding knife. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the EKA Swede 82. EKA or EKA is a company based out of Sweden. And all of us know that Sweden makes some outstanding knives. I mean, the Mora is a clear case and example, a great knife manufacturing company. But there are many other knife manufacturing companies that are lesser known. One of them is EKA. Now, EKA is based out of Eskilstuna, which is the Sheffield of Sweden. They make some fantastic blades. And one of my favorite knives within their collection is the EKA Swede 82. Now when you look at this knife, you can immediately see how beautifully constructed it is. It has the clean European lines and the clean Scandinavian lines that the country is so famous for, and the entire region is so famous for. It's also extremely beautifully designed. So if you see this, it has a very simple construction. It has these two pins that you can actually take off for complete disassembly of this entire blade. And it has a very interesting lockback mechanism, and this is the lock bar. And what happens is that when you wish to disengage the lock, you just press this and this entire thing moves, and this is how you disengage the lock. The advantage also, of course, is that you have as a lock, you have the lanyard hole here, so that you can actually attach a lanyard to this. All in all, a beautiful blade. This has also been a favorite of the British forces, specifically the SAS, and I believe that this used to be their go-to folding knife. Now if you see this blade, let me open it for you. Just look at the gorgeous lines in this. It has this beautiful belly, upswept belly, and it has this modified clip point. It has a beautiful Scandinavian grind, and you can see I've used this knife quite a lot. I have actually put a fairly wicked edge on this knife, and it works beautifully in the outdoors. That's the nail nick there, and I never really ever you have to use the nail nick, simply because the knife itself has so much purchase that you can simply open it out. If you see, it's very comfortable to hold. Now this wooden handle, this wood is actually called bubinka wood. It's a hard wood, but at the same time it is very comfortable to hold. It has brass bolsters inside. Let me bring it closer to the camera so that you can see. It's got brass bolsters inside. All the edges are beautifully crafted so that you have no hot spots when you hold this in your hand, right? You can see how they are all rounded so that you do not have a problem. At the same time, you can see that there is absolutely no blade play on this. It is flush with the lock bar. The lock bar itself is a huge hunk of steel, and all you have to do is to depress this and it closes like this. The fit and finish and walk and talk of this knife is outstanding. I have heard a lot of people describe this knife as built like a tank. I could actually say that it's almost indestructible. Very similar in its design philosophy to the Buck 110. At the same time, very different in the way they look and behave. Again, let me open this knife for you to see. You can hear how the lock clicks in with absolute confidence, and there is no side to side, there is no up and down blade play at all. And I have used this knife, of course I never abused it, but I've used this knife for many years, and it's been a rock solid companion. Now the steel on this is a Sandvik steel. It's I think 12C27 Sandvik steel. It takes an edge fairly well. At the same time, it retains the edge. I have had absolutely no complaints about this steel. It's, as you can see, also a fairly robust blade size, and if you see the blade actually goes all the way up to the tip, and there's very little of the metal that is shaved away at the tip, so it becomes a very strong tip. If you can see, the other advantage of this is that the tip is very, very strong. You can do a lot of work with the tip, especially woodwork, and it would not damage the tip at all. It's a very, very strong tip. As you can see, it goes all the way till the end. Let me try to focus here for you. Yeah. Okay. The other advantages of this knife is that it's I would say it's a heavy knife. It's around 135 grams of weight, but it's worth the weight because it's something that you will carry on with you as a full-time blade when you're outdoors, and you don't have to worry about this. It's built strong, and it was built to last you for a very, very long time. And if that means that you have to live with 30 grams of additional weight, so be it. The blade length is around 3.5 inches, which I find is a very, very good size for a camping knife or an outdoors knife. And the total blade length is approximately 8 inches. I find that to be also very, very convenient. This fits fairly easily into any pouch that you would want to carry it in. I don't have a pouch for this knife. I actually have an aftermarket pouch that I use with this, and it works perfectly for me. It's very easy and ergonomic to hold. You can see how it fills my entire hand, and because of that curve, this curve, and the way this curve moves is that it fits perfectly in the hand, and your hand is not going to slip and come out, which is a very, very good protective gear. So even though this doesn't have a choil, this entire curvature here of the knife allows you to lock in quite quickly into the blade. Also, this lanyard hole out here also digs into the soft portion of your palm, and it gives a fairly decent lock. The other advantage of this knife is that because it has a modified clip point, when you're holding the knife like this and you're holding a finger, it's almost as if you're pointing it like with a finger, and your knife is very, very precise. It will go exactly where you want it to go as far as your tasks are concerned. You can choke up on this knife. It's got enough real estate for you to choke up and for you to do woodwork of food preparation tiles. You can actually choke up and do pull cuts with it. You can choke up with it and do fine work with it, as in remove splinters if you need to. And at the same time, it's quite substantial, and it's a meaty, beefy blade. If you're in the market, honestly, if you're in the market and you're looking for a great camping knife, a knife that you can use for many, many years, that is safe, secure, almost indestructible, I cannot recommend any other knife other than the EKA 82, Swede 82. Of course, there are other options available to you. You still have the options of the Buck 110 and other folding knives in that category. The cold steel American Lawman is a great option, but all of them have their differences and their reasons for you to have it. I would say the other reason for this to have it is simply purely for its aesthetic appeal. Just look how beautiful and gorgeous this knife is, and how much joy it is to behold. There is something to be said about knives from Sweden, and specifically I think EKA does a fantastic job in manufacturing some of the best blades that I have ever worked with, and the EKA Swede 82 is a fantastic blade. Go for it if you want, and if you want it and you like it. I highly, highly recommend this knife. Thank you so much. Have a great day. There's something extremely beautiful about a wooden handled